Hang on. All right. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. Real quick video, as quick as I can make it. The Epstein, more than likely, the Epstein list will not be released. It's just a game. Okay. And, I'm making this video because this whole Epstein list propaganda is now popping back up in mainstream media. Okay. And it's just another ploy and another strategy to, that the devil is using to get people's hopes up. Right. And to give people a false sense of security, as if the U.S. government is out here doing some real justice. You know what I'm saying? As if the U.S. government actually cares about criminalizing people who are, in control of these underground human trafficking markets. OK, when actually people that are in the U.S. government are a part of this underground trafficking market. OK, and they've been stringing people along now for a couple years, right? Teasing you with it. Oh yeah, we're gonna release it. We're talking about releasing it. We're talking about releasing it, right? It's a big chance that we could release it pretty soon, but more than likely they're not gonna release it. And if they do release it, it's going to be a modified information that they're going to give to the public, because they can't really tell you, who was involved with that Epstein guy. You know what I'm saying? They can't really tell you, man. You people are bug out when you find out who was really involved in doing what. Right? You're the president of the United States. OK, it's already been clear that he's involved. So you really think that he's going to criminalize himself and put himself on blast? And yeah, I was actually on that island touching them kids, too. You think he's going to do that? No, he's not going to do that, man. OK, so if they do release anything in regards to this, man, it's just going to be a watered down, modified deception. Right. A watered down, modified lie. OK, they're going to take out names. They're going to take out a whole bunch of information, and they're going to give people like the cupcake stuff. Right. And it's not going to be anywhere near the truth. OK. And hang on. It's a lot going on right now in the spirit. Right. And these devils are marching forward with hyper speed to establish their new world order. Right. And, the grid is being set up. The technocracy, totalitarian government is being set up. Right. World War III is getting ready to start. So, what this is another distraction to keep people, mesmerized by a glimmer of hope. It's the same shit as, will the Lakers make it to the playoffs this season? It's the same shit, just giving people a glimmer of hope, but ultimately just to distract people, Let me read a little bit about this. It says, what's in the Epstein files and when they might become public. All right. It says the Justice Department's records related to Jeffrey Epstein are on their way to becoming public after President Donald Trump signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act. OK, but what could be in them and when could the public actually see them? They're not going to show you what's really what's really going on. OK, if they do release anything, it's just going to be some bullshit. They might even make Jeffrey Epstein look like a hero. You know what I mean? That's how this devil gets down. Well, he wasn't really that bad of a guy. He didn't really, you know what I'm saying? We still don't even know, they ain't even told us what the fuck happened to Diddy. What was he really doing? And we know that Diddy was on some goddamn lunatic, maniac, sexually perverse shit. We had to find out through other sources and other people doing interviews of what Diddy was really doing, right? The U.S. government never released the information of what he really had going on, right? All of them goddamn secret court meetings. You know, who knows if any of that shit even happened, man? You know? So you think if they wouldn't release the files that they had on Diddy, you really think that they're going to release the files that they got on an Edomite, one of their own, somebody that could, you know, if that's sensitive information, if the real sensitive information, you know, gets out to the public, it could criminalize probably 80% of the fucking U.S. government because they're all involved in it. How do you think these kids are going missing, man? This is the U.S. government organizing, okay, young kids to be kidnapped. This is why when kids go kidnapped in this country, they're never found. Why? Because the U.S. government goes through certain procedures to make sure that kid is never found. They're using state-of-the-art technology, right? They're connected with deep underground trafficking rings, right? You're never going to find that kid because the U.S. government, you know, is going to make sure that you never do, you know? So you really think that they're going to release this list, the real details of what's really going on when 80% of them devils in the government are connected? No, they're not, right? But, you know, this is a part of, you know, Donald Trump's little false hero campaign where he's trying to make himself look like he's the hero and the savior. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and release the files. You know, because I'm a good American. It's about making America great again. I'll uncover the lies. All right. And it's just going to be a whole bunch of bullshit. And they probably not going to release nothing, man. All right. This is just holding over to the next distraction. And you're going to forget about this. And, you know, you're going to be caught up on the next hypnotism strategy, man. OK, that's all that this is. It says here's a look at what's known about the release so far and what can be expected. And they've been saying this same exact shit for a couple years now, man. The same shit. What's in it? What could possibly happen? We might release it. Just dangling a goddamn hot dog on a stick in front of you, man. Keeping you people distracted. Okay? It says the term Epstein files has come to essentially mean all documents related to civil and criminal cases involving the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein was awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges when he died by suicide in his jail cell in 2019. Okay, and more than likely he didn't die. All right, straight up, he didn't die. I don't believe he died. You know what I mean? I believe that, you know, the nigga, you know, who knows if he was ever even in jail, man. Okay, but if he was in jail, more than likely they let him escape out the back door. The nigga grew his beard out and he's somewhere in Costa Rica, business as usual, grabbing kids, running the operation as usual. Because here's the thing, right, about this whole Epstein shit. All of this goddamn commotion about what could be in the files and all of this, how come the U.S. government has never interviewed any of the victims, right? Why haven't we got an interview with any of the victims? You don't need to release the files if the victims can tell you what the fuck was going on. What do you need to release the files for? Just get an interview with the victims. You know, they'll tell you exactly who the hell was there, right? How come we never got that interview? You know? How come we never got real live footage of what's going on that island? No drones, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? No goddamn British nigga, you know, because they always got a British nigga, some nigga from England. No nigga from England to walk around the island and do like an interview and show what was going on. Nothing. It's nothing. It's just keep promising you to release the files. We'll release them files. We'll release the files. We might do it. Okay? It's just a bunch of bullshit. It's just something to keep you distracted, man. All right? That's all that's going on with this. So I think that's it on that. Let's get a precept real quick. This is Isaiah 59:14. It says, "In judgment is turned away backward." Okay, meaning that righteous judgment is not being implemented in this world, man. Okay, this is why a demon like Jeffrey Epstein could do that type of shit, and they'll let that nigga escape out the back door, right? And there's no real penalty for it. And that's the perfect thing to say. He committed suicide. It's over and done with. Don't worry about it no more. He's dead. But through the spirit, I don't believe he's dead. Okay, he probably, like I said, he just grew his beard out, and he might be banned from America, but the average American's mind is very small and delicate and fragile, to where if people don't see Jeffrey Epstein in America, they will assume he's dead, right? Because the average American only knows America, right? But Jeffrey Epstein could be all over the country running the operation, business as usual. We never, the U.S. government has never told us if that island shut down. Is it shut down or what's going on? No real details about that entire situation. Just this fucking list, all right, that they just keep on, teasing people with, man. All right? Judgment is turned away backwards, man. All right, because this place is built on lies and treachery, all right, and playing games. All right, that's why this, the scriptures call this place the mother of harlots, right? The whore, because a whore is gonna waste your time and play games with you, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all a hoe is good for. Waste your time, play games with you. So that's what the U.S. government, that's what these devils is doing. They wasting people's time, man. All right. It says, "And justice standeth afar off, for truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter." Okay. Truth is falling in the street. All right. How are these devils still running around business as usual? Ghislaine Maxwell, right? What's going on with that? You don't even hear about her no more. They talking about she's in a prison in Texas. Come on, man. Let's get the fuck out of here, man. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? This is a woman from England. How did she get from England to now she's in a goddamn a Texas prison? How does that make sense, man? You see, this is all just a game because there's no truth. The truth has fallen in the street. So when you have a society that's built on lies and deception, okay, the only thing that can multiply is more lies and deception. All right, to the point to where everybody's confused, everybody's uncertain. Okay, and this is exactly what the devil wants. The Lord said he is not the author of confusion, but the devil is the author of confusion. You see? Let me get something real quick, because I looked this up right here. I put on Google, what is the purpose of the sleight of hand? And the sleight of hand is a magic trick that magicians use, okay, when they're, trying to convince people of their magic and witchcraft, man. And they use a technique called the sleight of hand. So let's read a little bit about it. It says the purpose of sleight of hand is to create illusions and entertain by using fine motor skills, deception, and misdirection to manipulate objects or create seemingly impossible effects. You see? Misdirection to manipulate illusions, right? Deception. Okay? And that's what Esau is good for. Okay? Throwing people for a loop and directing them in a direction that, pretty much leads to nowhere. This whole Epstein shit, this leads to nowhere, man. We are, hey, if you want to know what's going on with that situation, you don't have to wait on the U.S. government to know what the fuck has been going on, man. You could go on Google, not Google, you could go on YouTube, you can go on Rumble. It's people breaking down what the fuck is going on out there. But, the government has to have some sort of strategy to keep people asleep. So this is the perfect distraction. Meanwhile, the U.S. is starting to be more and more militarized, right? If you're paying attention to what's really going on, okay, they're turning, this country into a militarized country, all right? You got the National Guard going from state to state. You got ICE agents snatching people out of their homes. And now it's getting so bad to where ICE agents, they just going after anybody brown skin. You know, I seen one video where Jake was just in the neighborhood hanging out, and he wasn't no immigrant, right? Because he was obviously like a nigga. He was just a nigga, Latino nigga, right? He just in the neighborhood minding his business. Fucking ICE agents pull up on him like 4 deep, and they don't ask no questions. They don't, no papers, no nothing. They just get out the car and try to wrestle him on the ground. So this world is starting to become more and more draconian, man. All right. You know, but they have to keep certain distractions active. All right. So that way you're not paying attention to what's going on. It's the sleight of hand technique, man. Okay. This is why it tells us in the book of Habakkuk to stand upon our watch. Okay. You know, don't get caught up in all of this goddamn drama, celebrity gossip, because 90% of this shit that the government is telling us, right, about this and this and that and this, okay, 90% of that shit, bro, is fake as hell, man. All right, 90% of it, bro. All right, they probably only tell us about 10% of the truth. You want the truth, you got to hear it from the prophets, the men of the Lord. And you got other little whistleblowers that are blowing the horn. That's where you're going to get the truth. But the ultimate truth, okay, the reason why things are happening, right, you're going to only get that from the men of the Lord. All right, the hopeful elect members of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's tabernacle, okay? And that, more than likely, that spirit is going to come from the apostles and elders going down of GMS, okay? GMS has the 100% truth. We have the 100% truth, man. So that's where you're going to really know, you're going to really find out what's going on with this Epstein shit, okay? Because you got people that are really bugging out over this and, oh, man, they're going to release it this time. Oh, man, you know? Nigga on YouTube acting like he about to crack the Da Vinci Code, you know? It's like, bro, it's all a game, man. It's the same shit like the NFL, same game as the NFL, the same game as political theater. You know what I'm saying? Just something to keep people distracted while they set up a bigger, agenda, man. All right? So let me get another scripture. Because like I said, I don't want to make this long. This is Psalm 52, starting at verse 2. It says, the tongue deviseth mischiefs. And let me see what that word mischief mean, man. All right. Mischiefs. Playful misbehavior or troublemaking, especially in children. Okay. So just wickedness. You know what I mean? And it's telling you that the tongue, Esau's tongue, all right, creates wickedness. All right. He's on the television telling you all sorts of lies. We're going to release the files and this, that, and the third. But you niggas been saying that since like 2019, bro. 6 years? You mean to tell me 6 years? And y'all still talking about we're going to release the fucking files, man? But meanwhile, let a nigga go inside of Walmart, okay, and still a guy. Let that nigga go on Walmart and that nigga steal a goddamn iPhone 15. You know what I mean? They will meet that nigga at his goddamn house, man. All right? His ass up. You know, they find that nigga immediately. But this is a nigga, Epstein, this is a nigga that had an entire island, right? You know, that apparently high level political leaders were attending, celebrities. And you mean to tell me that the only information you can give us is some punk ass list? What about the niggas that was there? Why don't we just interview them? They could tell us. What about the victims? Like I said, what about the victims? We just interviewed them. They could tell us. We don't need no list, but it's all a game. Okay? It's all a game. And you think Esau don't know that, man? All right? There probably ain't no list to begin with, man. Like there's some detailed list of different names. These devils, they know exactly who's there because they were there. The fuck are you talking about? All right? Their tongue deviseth mischief, man. It says like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Okay? It says, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Salah. All right? Esau, you know, he loves the lie. You know, at this point, Esau gets a kick out of just lying to people and keeping people going it's like a little personal little thrill to him. Like, oh, you see that? They fell for that one. You know, them goddamn, them elite Caucasian devils, they sitting back with a cup full of blood, with a cup full of 6-year-old baby blood. You know what I'm saying? Niggas sitting back, throwing out enchantments and then laughing at people, who fall for it. You know what I'm saying? They love to lie, right? So they're going to keep this goddamn Epstein going on because really behind the scenes, these devils are getting a kick out of how stupid these people are for, how long are you going to believe this shit? How long are you people going to believe that we needed 6 to 7 years to get this list? I remember one woman said, I don't know who this woman was, but she was an Edomite. And somebody asked her on television and said, hey, okay, you have the list on your desk, don't you? Why don't you just release it right now? And she did a whole bunch of word mumbo gumbo. Well, it's that and this, that, and the third. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe. See, it's all a game, man. Okay, don't fall for this bullshit. Okay, this is why you got to be tapped in to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man. All right. The scriptures say how the simple believeth every word. Okay. Somebody that's simple falls for this goofy shit every time. Just like these niggas fall for the goddamn Super Bowl every goddamn year. They fall for Thanksgiving. They fall for Christmas, right? They fall for these things every year. So whenever Esau throws this out, you got a whole bunch of people, especially them goddamn MAGA hat, left, right, paradigm believing niggas. They really believe in this shit. Look, our country is being attacked. This is crazy. What are we gonna do? The files need to be released. Thank God for Donald Trump. Okay, you people are fools, man. All right, these people out here are simple, man. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, okay, is the one that makes sure that we're on point and we don't just believe every old goddamn lie. Okay, thank the Lord for that, man. Thank the Lord for that, because from the outside looking in, right, from where we stand, these enchantments, they are goofy and they are corny, right? And they're very obvious. But when you're in the world and you're in darkness, okay, it be the goofiest, corny enchantments that'll get you. So thank Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, man, that the Lord has taken us out the world so that way we can see things clearer. Okay, this is Ephesians 5, starting at verse 6. It says, let no man deceive you with vain words. Okay, and Esau talking about how he gonna release this list. It's vain words, man. All right, like I said, if they do release something, it ain't gonna be the truth. All right, it ain't gonna be the truth. All right, whole bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean? And then these devils, they're fighting within each other too, right? A lot of these devils are against each other, right? So they might put somebody on the list that really had nothing to do with it, but they'll just, okay, put him on the list because he's going against the grain. They might say Candace Owens is on the list. You know what I'm saying? Just so they could be justified in locking her ass up, or Andrew Tate or something like that. It's all a theater, man. Okay? It's all a game. It says, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Be not ye partakers with them, for ye were sometimes darkness, right? And at one point, we were simple enough to believe all of these enchantments, man. You know what I'm saying? We believed in the goddamn Super Bowl. We believed that Jay-Z and Beyonce were a power couple, and that was a couple that was covenanted by God. You know what I mean? We believed a lot of this simple shit that we've been fed over the years, the high school curriculum, right? We believe that dumb shit. Okay? But this is what it says now. It says, but now are ye light in the Lord. You see? Now we've been awakened. So now we're not going to get caught up with mischievous misinformation like this, man. Okay? Mischievous, dumb shit like this, man. We look through this type of shit. All right. And we focus on the bigger picture at hand, which is biblical prophecy. Right. And yes, this is a part of prophecy because these devils are being exposed. But, a lot of this shit, the devil is exposing himself. Right. the devil is exposing himself too. It's kind of like a sadist, right? When you deal with somebody that's sadistic, a lot of the time somebody that's sadistic, they like to like sit back and look at their own work. They're infatuated with, causing pain to others and watching others suffer, and they're infatuated with their involvement. So they'll sit back and watch their involvement like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me. I love that. You know what I mean? I love that I did that. So Esau is exposing himself, right? These devils are exposing themselves because in a secret way, they kind of want people to know that they're the devil, right? They get a kick out of that. Like, yeah, I am the devil. You know what I mean? So, we have the light to see things like that. It says, walk as children of light. You see? Don't walk as the children of darkness and fall for every old enchantment, man. All right? More than likely, the Epstein list will not be released. It's just a game. All right? And I'm going to say it again. If they do release that, it's just going to be some watered down, filtered bullshit. Okay? And then they might hold niggas up again. Well, that was the first half of the list. We'll come out with the other half of the list. We'll speculate that, and then leave it up to these devils. That'll be another 20 years to come up with the other half of the list. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of it's a bunch of baloney, man. All right. So, I just wanted to make this video. All right, just to tell you Akim and Aqua, stay focused, man. All right, and lock into your Yahweh Shem Shai, so that way you never get enchanted or what's the word? Bewitched by this type of bullshit. All right. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom, shalom.